Camp 14, the most horrible place in North Korea. There's your disclaimer, everyone. June 1989.
Class is about to start for these 40 school kids. Like every week, the teacher starts searching everyone's pockets. This time, he finds something on a little girl. 5 kernels of grain. The teacher snaps and commands the girl to come up front.
What? Over
She has
5
to kneel
kernels
down
of
on the
grain?
hard concrete floor.
Oh my
With
god.
a wooden stick, he strikes her on the head. Again, and again, and again, and again.
Is this like a... I don't know much about like North Korea and these things. Is this like a concentration camp?
Her classmates watch in silence. The beating
What?
goes
Bro, these kids are like freaking 12.
on until the
How is
little
this
girl
legal? I mean,
collapses.
it's North Korea. I mean, they can do whatever they want. They can have anyone, anywhere, at any time. No matter who they are.
Afterwards, her classmates carry her home. The same
What?
night, she dies.
Dies.
The little girl and the
Bro,
other 39 children
over 5 grains, over 5 kernel grains. Like, what? That's the most stupidest thing to kill someone over, man.
are all inmates in one of North Korea's deadliest prison camps, Camp 14.
Comparisons have been drawn to the Nazi death camps, to the Soviet Gulag. You know, they're accurate, and in their own way, they're different.
A lawless detention facility hidden in the mountains of Kaeshan, a place where people are imprisoned for the crimes of their parents. Once you end up here, you
What?
will most likely die here.
This is truly a space that is
Dude, that's insane.
outside.
So you get trapped for your parents' actions. So if your parents like robbed someone, I mean, obviously they'd probably kill the parents, but then their kids would probably get sent to a concentration camp, which is much worse, I think.
Humanity, let me say that.
Prisoners are forced to work under inhumane conditions. The smallest mistake can cost them their lives.
Oh,
Escape
Jesus,
is
man.
almost impossible. Only a handful make it out.
And the thing is that this is real. This isn't fake or some fantasy. This is actually going on in North Korea as I'm making this video, which
And everything
is
on
so
deadly
sad.
routes. In North Korea, there are several of these death camps, and the regime has kept them a secret for decades. But through the relentless work of human rights organizations, satellite imagery, and reports from survivors, we can have a glimpse at these facilities. Why are people being sent to Camp 14? What does daily life look like inside its walls? What horrors do the inmates face?
Oh
And
my
how
god,
do people
strapped to
actually
a
get out?
log?
This is the
That's
story
insane.
of the most horrific prison camp in North Korea.
Damn. Fern's frickin' videos are getting really high tech, man. This guy makes
This story
the
is based on
craziest
Escape from
videos.
Camp 14 by Blaine Harden. One former prisoner of Camp 14 later changed parts of his story. Every time you see this symbol, it marks those revisions. If you want to know more about the exact changes and the reasons behind them, we recommend reading this article. Since North Korea denies the existence of these camps, independent verification is not possible.
Oh, cut the dickishness, North Korea,
Shin
bro.
Dong-hyuk is just a young boy when he witnesses the little girl being punished for having food in her pocket.
That isn't even food, it's freaking kernels. That's not even anything. That won't even get you. That won't even do anything.
Has
That's
no doubt
nothing.
she deserved it. After all, she stole food. And at Camp 14, stealing means death. He doesn't question it.
Oh.
He knows nothing else. The camp rules are his reality. Shin was born in Camp 14, but his parents didn't fall in love. They were assigned to each other by prison guards. Intimacy between men and women is strictly forbidden. If a woman becomes pregnant without permission, both she and the baby are shot. In Camp 14, there is only one way to have a child: promotion.
And even if you do have that child's gonna grow up in this concentration camp, bro. Oh, it's freaking muted.
Snitch on others may be granted. Those who work hard, and more importantly, snitch on others, may be granted a reward marriage. This is how Shin Dong-hyuk and his older brother Shin Hee-gyun come into the world. But they don't grow up as a real family. Their mother never talks about the past. Shin has no clue why his parents were imprisoned, and it probably wouldn't matter anyway.
It's all about suspicion. You know, you don't have to be an anti-regime character. But if you're suspected of being anti-regime, of being a wrongdoer...
So a suspicion can get you locked up for life in North Korea. So if I stole something, if I didn't actually steal something, and they suspected that I stole something, I'd get thrown in camp. I could get thrown in Camp 14, which is just ridiculous. If there's no solid evidence, then there's no reason that I should be held.
Thinker of having engaged in wrong associations, they will send you to the camp.
This is Greg Scarlatoiu. He's president and CEO of HRNK, the Washington-based Committee on Human Rights in North Korea. For years, Greg and his team have been investigating human rights abuses at these camps. Like many others, Shin will most likely stay in Camp 14 for the rest of his life, even though he never committed a crime.
Exactly.
This is the house Shin and his mother live in. Along with his mother's promotion came slightly better housing. They share it with 3 other families and sleep on the floor. There is a single light bulb in the kitchen. Electricity works for just 2 hours a day. There's no running water, no furniture, no shower, and barely enough food to survive. The building is part of a model village, one of many. Camp 14 is estimated to cover around 153 square kilometers, almost 3 times the size of Manhattan. It is secured by a 60-kilometer fence, patrol paths,
A
barracks,
60-kilometer
guard posts,
fence.
and checkpoints. The whole area stretches from river valleys to mountain peaks. The wilderness and the Taedong River act as a natural barrier, an immense obstacle course separating the facility from the outside world. Little villages are scattered across the vast area, containing housing and working units.
These are sprawling facilities. They're very large facilities. So at some of these facilities, you see farming, agriculture going on. You see some of these facilities that are adjacent to coal mines or other types of mineral exploitation.
Researching and animating topics like these take a lot of time. We worked for months on just this video with the help of more than a dozen people. And this wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, Brilliant.
I am so
Brilliant
sorry.
is
I
an
just have
interactive
to
learning
skip
app.
this. Ooh, I am sorry, Fern, but I need to skip this.
Also has a school. This is where Shin goes every day. His teacher wears a guard's uniform, carries a weapon, and teaches obedience above all else. Camp rules are brutal. There are 10 of them. Even the smallest violation can lead to execution. Shin memorizes them all. Rule 1.
That's a good
Any
one.
witness to an attempted escape who fails to report it will be shot immediately.
What?
Rule 3. Anyone who steals or conceals any foodstuffs will be shot immediately. Rule 5. Anyone who holds or hides a fugitive's possessions, conspires with him, or fails to report him will be shot immediately. The guards enforce the rules without mercy.
내가 총을 꾸려서 뭐 쏘거나 해도
I didn't feel the slightest bit of guilt, even though I killed so often there. Man, you're a dickhead, that's what you are, okay?
느끼지 않았어. 일반적으로 우리는 그때
When we had shot someone, we thought it was the right thing to
나라를 지키기
do
위해서 내가
to
한
protect,
일이기 때문에
to protect our country. From what?
나라를
An
지키기
innocent
위해서 내가
human?
한 일이기 때문에
Oh my god.
영소에는 들어오게 되면 사람이 아니에요. 사람이 아니고 내 마음대로 해도 돼요. 그 안에 사람은 그 자리에서 죽이겠으면 죽이고 살리겠으면 살리고 하는 건 내 마음이에요. 뭐 설명해
So
주세요.
he had the choice to keep them alive or,
Across North
kill
Korea,
them.
there are different types of detention facilities. The worst of them are called Kwanliso. Camp 14 is one of them. It's also called a total control zone.
People never get out of those. You know, they just waste away. They get killed by this vicious cycle of malnutrition and forced labor.
Shin's mother has to work the rice fields, 10 to 15 hours of hard labor every day. If she meets her quota, she receives food, just enough to survive the night and make it through the next day.
North Korea is all about production targets. If you don't meet them, and probably you will not meet them, you'll get less food, more work, less food, more work, and that's how you waste away and die. That's, you know, the truly tragic story at these camps.
From the moment Shin starts school, his life is split between the classroom and hard labor in the coal mine.
The
Long
coal
workdays are made
mine?
worse by a constant gnawing hunger. Before school, Shin often eats his mother's portion while she's still out in the fields. She beats him for it, but he does it anyway. To him, she's not a source of love or care. She's a rival in the fight for every meager scrap of food.
Dude,
This
man.
is Shin's meal, served 3 times a day for his entire prison life. If he makes a mistake, his portion is cut in half as punishment. Sometimes he and the other inmates catch rats, the only source of meat in Camp 14.
Dude, they eat
For Shin,
freaking
this isn't
rats.
as much as a nightmare. It's normal life. He has never seen the world beyond the barbed wire. Unlike this man.
Who is this? Kim Yong.
Kim Young is in his
1995.
mid-40s when he's brought to Camp 14. He knows the world outside very well. In fact, he was a high-ranking military officer and vice president of a state-owned company. In his former life, he enjoyed culture, a chauffeur, and all the benefits of being a government employee. Now he's also forced to work in the coal mines.
But
Kim
why?
didn't break any laws to get here. His parents did.
Oh
In
my
North Korea,
god.
this form of collective punishment is called yunjoje, guilt by association. Up to 3 generations can be punished for crimes of family members. When Kim was a child, his father and brother were accused of spying for the United States, enough to execute them.
How are they gonna spy for the United States if they haven't been outside for the if they haven't been outside to speak to someone from the United States? How? They don't got a
After
phone.
that,
I
Kim
know
was
for
brought
sure
to
that
an
North
orphanage
Koreans
under
don't
a
got a
new name.
phone.
It took more than 40 years until someone found out about his true heritage. Even Kim himself wasn't aware of the supposed crimes his family allegedly committed.
There's absolutely no judicial process. This is extrajudicial punishment. They'll just, take you away in the middle of the night together with your family members. You just disappear. That's how it goes.
대낮에 잡아가는 건 없어요. 다 밤에 그냥 원래 그냥
Always
어느
arrested at
순간에
night.
싹 다 쓸어 가고 정치범 수용소에 가서도 그 가족들은 우리가 뭘 잘못해서 왔는지 그걸 모른다는 거죠.
Fear is the most powerful tool for prison guards to keep inmates in line. During Kim's time in Camp 14, a total of 25 inmates are executed. One day, he witnesses a fellow prisoner being killed for collecting chestnuts that had fallen from a tree.
What?
Kim spends most of his days underground. Hours and hours of endless work with no sunlight and no mercy. Kim struggles. He's never faced labor like this before. Mistakes are inevitable, and every one of them is met with the punishment of a guard who never leaves his side. One day, a guard strikes Kim with the butt of his gun till he falls unconscious. For the next 2 days, he only receives half his meals.
But why?
After
They
more
felt
than
like
2
it.
months of living like this in Camp 14, Kim decides to end it. Following a long day of work, he steps into the elevator of a mining shaft. The metal cage ascends until it reaches a height of around 2,000 feet. He pulls the safety pin, and the elevator falls. But Kim
What?
survives, and the vicious cycle goes on.
What?
When Shin is about 6 or 7, the camp's borders shift.
Oh my god.
His village is merged into the neighboring Camp 18, just across the river. It's said to be slightly less brutal than Camp 14, but for Shin, life hardly changes at all.
Now, bro,
Shin is
Fern,
15
I
and
know
has
what you
moved
did
out
there.
From his mother's home.
6
now
or
lives with his
7?
father.
Really?
One day, a teacher allows Shin to spend the night at his mother's house, a reward for good behavior. When he arrives, another guest awaits. It's his brother, Shin Hee-gyun. The 21-year-old works at the prison cement factory, a couple of miles away. Shin doesn't like him at all. In the middle of the night, Shin wakes up from his sleep. He hears voices from the kitchen. His brother is talking about escape. His mother seems to support him. Shin's first instinct, he has to report this. He goes to a nearby dorm room and wakes a friend to ask for advice. The friend urges Shin to tell the guards.
Oh my
They go to the school's
goodness.
night guard on duty and report the escape plot. Shin also signs a false police statement, claiming he saw his mother and brother commit murder. This piece of evidence ultimately leads to an execution order.
No way,
Guards take Shin
man.
to an execution site next to the Taedong River. A crowd has gathered to watch. They drag out his mother and his brother. They're killed in front of Shin's eyes.
Oh my days.
In 1996, Kim Young is transferred to Camp 18. To him, this place feels like heaven. The labor conditions are slightly better, and to his surprise, he reunites with his 70-year-old mother, who is also a prisoner here. But the violence and abuse don't stop. One day, he has to witness how guards beat up his mother and force her to do manual labor.
Bro, I
His
couldn't
mother
bear
is
this.
certain they will both die in the camp. Even though it means risking his life, she urges Kim to leave her behind and escape.
Dude, there's actually no way.
Escaping from a
actually
North Korean
escape.
death camp is almost impossible.
These are highly protected facilities. You're talking barbed wire, walls, armed guards, intersecting lines of fire.
Dude, he might as well be James Bond. He's not getting out of there,
Talking
man.
machine guns.
But somehow he
very,
did.
Very difficult to escape. I mean, it's difficult to escape a detention facility in any civilized country. Imagine North Korea.
King Young quietly studies his surroundings. He observes, waits, and starts thinking. He lays out multiple escape plans, but none of them seem doable to him. Another hard day of work. The prisoners are loading coal onto a train. Suddenly, they spot something. Grain scattered across the bottom of a train car. It must have transported food before. The scene explodes into chaos. Prisoners
What?
drop everything, desperately looking for the tiniest speck of food. The guards start shouting, but no one listens. Kim discovers a narrow space beneath a metal panel in the floor of a coal wagon. He squeezes inside, and as the train rumbles out of Camp 18, he rides with it.
No way.
Hours later, the train reaches Goan Station at around 4 a.m. We don't know exactly how, but Kim manages to crawl out of his hideout and disappears into the night.
Now he's just
Kim
loose in North
successfully
Korea.
escaped Camp 18, but his path to freedom is still very long. After finding a worker's uniform, he changes clothes and starts a treacherous journey that will take him many months through China and Mongolia to South Korea, where he'll eventually seek asylum. Escaping a prison is one thing. Escaping the country is another. We made a whole video on how to escape North Korea. Link is in the description.
Wait, are they not? Oh, they are gonna show how he did it.
Shin also manages to escape from Camp 18 twice, both times by crawling under a fence. Both times he's recaptured. After his second attempt, Shin is sent back to Camp 14 and is thrown into a special detention center, a place with only one purpose: torture.
What?
그냥 뭐 매만 맞고
I still have the scars of my torture and the burns.
뭐 내가 걱정인 걸 아네.
Look at my arms.
내가 이런 사람들처럼
My arms aren't normal.
다 아래
They are
꺾어져.
bent and deformed.
다른 사람들 꺾고
Oh, yeah, I
넘어지는데
Before
see
I
it.
was tortured, my arms were straight.
그래서 다 이렇게 꺾고 나는 이렇게 또 뭐 몸도 그렇고
When I was
This is actually
tortured, my
him.
arms were tied up with a rope
팔이
and
되게
pulled
꺾여가지고
backwards.
계속 그러다 보니까 저절로 이렇게 팔이 계속 휘는
That
거예요.
made them more and more bent.
그럼 이런 거 샤워하다가
I'm filled with anger when I stand in front of the mirror and look at my body after a shower.
이런 모습들이기 때문에.
Oh, I feel so bad for this guy, man.
After 4 weeks of torture, he's thrown into a pitch-black cell. No windows and barely enough space to lie down. There he'll spend the next 6 months. After his release, Shin is thrown back to the general prison population. He has to work in the coal mine, the farm fields, and eventually in a garment factory. This is where he meets Park Young-chul, a man unlike anyone Shin has ever seen. Born into an elite family, Park once held a prestigious job and had seen the world beyond North Korea's borders. By then, Shin already knows he's on the execution list. With Park at his side, he begins planning what will be Shin's third and final escape.
January 2nd,
Shin
2005.
and
This is how
Park are
far
assigned
it's
to do some
gone?
woodwork up in the mountains, along with
Dude,
some
it's been like
prisoners.
20 years.
They're chopping wood near the
I
other
might be
fence.
just dead wrong, but
The camp's
that's what
fence
it
is
feels
around
like.
10 feet high and lined with high-voltage barbed wire. The next guard tower is a quarter of a mile away. Shin watches the patrols. There are long gaps between them where no guard is close enough to spot the two. The plan is simple. Wait until dusk so that their footprints can't easily be traced in the snow. They slip through the high-voltage wires without touching them.
Yeah,
As the
that's pretty
sun
smart,
sets,
I
Shin and
guess.
Park move closer to the fence. They hack branches, pretending to stack wood. Nobody notices them. Park hesitates. Shin's heart races. He grabs Park's hand and they run. Shin slips. Park reaches the fence before him. He tries to squeeze his head between the two lowest wires and hits one of them.
Oh,
Park's body is not moving. The bottom wire bends under his weight, creating a narrow gap. Shin crawls over Park's body. He's almost past the fence when his legs slip hitting one of the wires. The voltage tears through him. His pants char, his skin burns from ankle to knee.
Oh my god.
But somehow he makes it through. Park's body lies dead on the fence. Shin runs without looking back for 2 hours straight until he realizes that he made it.
No way.
He manages to cross the river to China, and after a journey of almost 2 years, he finally reaches South Korea.
Let's go, my guy! That was insane.
These are all the prison camps that are most likely active in North Korea today. According to Greg
5.
Scarlatoiu, the camps are changing, and not for the better. Camps near the border have reportedly been moved further inland, likely to make escape even harder. And some new internal perimeters have appeared, possibly to isolate high-value prisoners.
The third development in terms of infrastructure, evolution and development has been the creation of watchtowers and what appears to be intersecting lines of fire around the camps. They would be meant to basically exterminate those who attempt to leave those camps.
For some camps, evidence is even scarcer.
There's one camp that we know very little about, and that's Camp 16, 1-6. That's very close to the Punggye-ri nuclear testing facility. And I have spoken with the South Korean nuclear scientists who said, look, we don't believe that prisoners are used in digging those tunnels for the nuclear tests, but it is very likely that they will be, used and abused while cleaning up after those nuclear tests.
The HRNK estimates that up to 120,000 people are currently held in North Korean prison camps. In fact, as a viewer of this video,
120,000.
you might know more about them than most North Koreans ever will.
We have to remember that these people are being tortured and maimed today. They were tortured and maimed yesterday, and the same will happen tomorrow. So, I think it's a matter of moral, ethical, religious, and political obligation to continue to maintain our interest in these issues.
This is Shin today. He gradually adjusted to a life in society and became a public speaker and advocate for human rights in North Korea. In 2015, Shin Dong-hyuk retracted parts of his story and admitted to changing certain key details in Escape from Camp 14. The book's author published a detailed statement outlining every change Shin had made. According to Shin, some memories were simply too painful and others too shameful to share truthfully at the time. This is a common reaction for victims of torture, who often cope by suppressing or distorting their accounts of what really happened. Greg Scarlatoiu and others believe Shin's changes don't alter the fundamental truth of his reports.
Was Shin Dong-hyuk a political prisoner? Yes, 100%. Okay, he spent some time both at Camp 14 and Camp 18, right across the river. Did he witness the execution of his mother and brother? Yes, he did.
That is
So
really
the
sad.
fundamental elements of Shin Dong-hyuk's story did not change.
Shin bears the scars, physical and psychological. They leave little doubt about the abuse and torture he endured.
Dude. Wait, that's it? Oh my god, we're just skipping to another video. Oh my god, man. That is insane, bro. If you think about it, North Korea is literally like hell. Hell on earth. If you think about it. It's like the complete opposite. If you went to Canada, if you wanted to go to the complete opposite, you'd go to North Korea. It's just the worst place on the earth. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed that video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.